Hello, hello, hello. It's another Diddy Do with Dean and Stacy. Thank you for joining us today. And today we are going to talk about um, doing hard things that aren't necessarily fun, but they produce results. And I'm going to have Dean talk about this a little bit more about filling in the gap of where you are and where you're trying to go and how we can help assist you with looking at things a little differently. So take it away, Dean.
Hey. Yeah, thank you so much, Stacey. It's always fun to get on these calls and Zooms, and hopefully you're getting some benefit out of them. And think about that as far as like connecting with us even more in a deeper sense, because we got Facebook and all the different social medias out there that you can do. But I want to talk about something that I struggle with all the time in my business. It's not an easy thing. It can be a really hard thing because when we resist it, when we don't want to do it, it becomes tougher and tougher because you're resisting against a thing that really you can just begin to speak and let it flow, right? And just get in there. So I heard one of my mentors say one time that the reason people don't get what they want is because the very successful people, they take and as they're successful in their area, they're doing things that nobody else wants to do. They're doing things that, so what does that mean that nobody else to do? So the biggest gap I know in my life, and I struggle with it, the biggest gap is what you know. You know what to do over here. You've been in business long enough. You know what to do over here. You've been in relationships long enough. You know what to do, right? But the biggest gap that we face is doing what we know what to do. It's knowing and doing. So what happens is when we don't really begin to have that sense of, oh man, you know, I'm not going to call anybody. I'm not going to do any business. I'm going to get on an email. I'm going to go have coffee with somebody. I'm going to do this. And we avoid this area of our life. And as we avoid it, what happens is it really gets tougher. It becomes more tougher. I don't know if that's an English way to put it, more tougher, but that's okay because I can chop up the English language better than anybody. But anyway, so think about when I do my calls. This is kind of just a little roadmap that I do right there, and I just otherwise this here holds me accountable because I can see that I did real quick here. I'll show you the difference. I started 7-1, and then what happened is I didn't do anything until 7-8. Hello, what's wrong with that picture, right? And so I'm over to 7:15. So I have a lot of gaps there. Why is that so? Because of fear, because of anxiety, because of stress, because of trying to figure out things, not wanting to do them because I don't want to do them. They're painful. Get over it and just do it. Like Nike says, just do it. So, and then when you start to do it, guess what happens? When you begin to apply yourself and you go back to the basics, like football camp, they go back to the basics. These guys have been training their whole life in their little tiny peewee, and now, here they are now, professionals, broken records all over the place, and they're still going back to the basics. So pick up the phone, go knock on a door, and get back to basics, and really understand what you know, and begin to narrow that gap. Now, here's the cool thing. Find a mentor, find a coach. It doesn't necessarily have to be us, but you're not going to make it unless you find one that you connect with, and they're going to help you over that ridge. So, hey, this is Dean. Stacy, you got a comment you want to bring to the table?
Yeah, I think it goes back to traditional connection with people too, with the marketing. Of course, there's this digital world that we are in, but those traditional marketing concepts too, especially with the businesses, reaching out, being a real estate agent for 20 years, they taught that to us consistently. Make those touch points with your contacts, make those phone calls. And I remember being terrified having to make those cold calls, even soft calls. Almost those were almost harder, calling people I knew about things and didn't
Yeah.
necessarily feel wonderful about it. But the one thing that I did know is that in doing it, it got easier as I did it. I found my rhythm with doing the hard work, and it was effective. It does work when you put yourself into some uncomfortable situations around that. But really, it's about connection.
Mhm.
People work with people that they like, know, and trust, and you can be all of those things and in a phone conversation or over coffee. Like what are we doing to connect with people, and how can we be of service to them? Because we all have something valuable to share with the world. We all have different gifts, and it might be in a simple conversation that they gain some knowledge or insight that might help their life be better. And, maybe they're not buying whatever product or whatever service it is that you're connecting with them to, but there's still the gift and the connection. And so just look at it maybe from a different perspective on what services am I sharing with the world today through a simple conversation. Do that hard work. And I always like to visualize this as art in some way. I love art. I love to paint. I love to do the whole process with it, except the cleanup isn't necessarily the funnest part, but it's still necessary. So, in making that piece of art, doing that wonderful thing that you love to do and you kind of get lost in, you still have to clean up the mess. You still have to do those things that are uncomfortable or that you don't necessarily want to do it because it's effective. It helps you in the whole process. So,
Yeah.
I feel like I'm rambling a little off and getting a little deep with some of this, but it is true. It's how can you do that messiness of life and help somebody else transition into another way of being also.
Yeah.
So that's our little ditty do today. If you want to chat with us more about it, certainly reach out. We would love to connect with you and share whatever it is that you want to share with the world. We are here for you. So have a wonderful Tuesday, and we'll see you next week.
See you later. Bye.